This excerpt was taken from the Practice What You Preach interview with producer-engineer Alex Perialas. You can listen to the entire interview at fullandbloom.com.
The thing about Practice is that record was recorded live, and it truly is a live record, minus vocals. But like the band played live, and those guitar solos you hear that Alex Perialas played, those are live takes that happened, during the session, during the take. There was not an overdub.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, and that was what we did. We basically set up. We found a spot in the room that felt good at Fantasy in Studio A. That was a Neve 8108 console, and it was basically a Studer 800 tape machine. And we basically played the set every day. We played it twice. We played the whole record 2 times every day, and then we just basically pulled choice takes.
Wow.
Once we got one that was good, we pulled it. We go back and erase everything. So that was, again, I like that idea. It was very deliberate. And we had X amount of reels of tape, and once we got a take that we thought was great, we kept it, and then we'd still keep recording the entire set, the entire record would get recorded. We just kept picking away at the carcass, if you will. So.
Were they still writing at the time, or did they have everything down by the time they enter the studio?
For Practice, no, that record was written and ready to go. There's always pre-production, but
sure.
To work on stuff to make sure things are feeling right and tempos are set, blah, blah, blah. But, that was just ready to go, basically. I mean, there's always some tweaks that are happening along the way, but for the most part, if it needed to be tweaked, it was easy to tweak because you could hear the finished every day. Like when you were done, you were listening to a finished record, basically, because, even in the control room, I was working with with Michael Rosen at that time. That's when I first met Michael in California, who was my assistant on that project. And we still are close friends. I just talked to him 2 weeks ago. He takes interns of mine from my program. So he's been very gracious in taking interns over the years, which is great.
Do you remember the budget for that record? I'm assuming it wasn't huge, but they were definitely growing.
It was sizable enough.
Like a $60,000 budget, or
it was less than it was actually pretty good. It was a pretty decent budget because we were a fantasy studio, so that room was not cheap. I think we were paying close to, trying to think. I bet you we were probably paying $10,000 a week for the studio. Those days, if you got a high end room like Fantasy, if you were getting the room for $1,500 to $1,800 a day, that was actually a deal. And so that was Studio A, and then we mixed in Studio D, and that wasn't cheap by any means.
Anything stand out from recording the title track
from Practice?
Yeah,
nothing. But if you go back and look at the video that was done for that record, where Skolnick is playing a solo in the control room,
right?
The headphones fall off because they were just mocking playing that stuff at that point. That wasn't which was pretty funny. But what you see, going on in that video is exactly how we recorded that record. That it was just a blast. And I think that the only takeaway for me was that every day when you listen down to the record, you were hearing like it was a finished record, basically. Because we actually had it EQ'd up in the control room, so it was sounded finished. So when you listen to a playback, it was like it had, there was effects and there was reverb and there was, compression and, things were EQ'd on a return path. It was sounding great. And that was the fun part of making that record, was that every day you got to listen to like a better version or a different version of the same bunch of songs. And it was up to us to figure out which ones made the record, which was really the fun part. I was always in awe of like how hard they worked, to play that set of songs every day. It was a blast.